Hi Rusical, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I attempted to do a challenge. The point of the challenge is to read as many books as you need to until you find a 5-star. So the length of this reading log is determined by how fast I can find a book that I love and by how much I know myself and my reading tastes. Happy red, white and royal blue day. I went to a laser appointment today. It's my second one. I'm doing it on my legs. Don't know if it's worth it yet, but I hope it is because I am exhausted. I'm tired. I'm 30 and I'm tired of shaving my legs. The red, white and royal blue came in clutch. I am going to watch it now because I'm really excited. It was my treat for going to the laser and waking up early for it. I've slept only for 5 hours and I can't wait. I'm really anxious as well because if they fuck up my favorite book, I'm gonna be pissed. I hate it when adaptations are not as good or are on a decent level because it immediately turns people against the story. I mean, the ones that have not read the original and they think that it's trash, and it pains me when I hear that people think red, white and royal blue is trash. So really excited. I've seen all the previews, all the trailers, everything. I'm also reading a book at the moment and I'm gonna talk about it right now. I think amidst the excitement of red, white and royal blue, I'm reading Tapping into Love by McCallan. It's a small town romance. The protagonist is Sierra. She comes back home after a while to New England to bury her father. They didn't have a good relationship. He was a homophobe, so she left to live in a big city. Her mom died. Her brother is an okay dude so far, and they have a good relationship, but they have not talked for a while. The romance is between her and this girl named Lucy. The interesting part of it is that they come from families that have beef, so it's a light core Romeo and Juliet type of story. One family makes maple syrup and the other family, I think, owns an inn in town, and Sierra's father, who we established is not a good person, was trying to run Lucy's family out of business. So Lucy is now very prejudiced against Sierra, even though they've never been close, never talked, were in the same school but never connected, they were in different grades. So when Sierra comes back for the funeral, Lucy is pissed. She doesn't want to see her, and Sierra coincidentally is trying to check into Lucy's hotel. I am enjoying it. I think it's really cozy and fun. It's been raining in the past few days and I think it's going to rain for the next few. So I'm reading the cozy book. I will do more chores around the house. I need to wash my floors and just clean up a little bit. But I will watch Red, White and Royal Blue first.
2 hours later.
Am I obsessed with this movie or am I obsessed with this movie? Because I am. I don't think it's perfect because no adaptation is perfect. We will imagine things to be a certain way in our mind when we read the book. But I think it's very good. It genuinely is very good. And let's just get over it. I will tell you 2 things that I didn't like. The first one is that there wasn't enough exposition. They just jump into it straight away at the start, and the movie is 2 hours long. I think they've spent more time dealing with them not knowing how to be together publicly than showing us how they fell in love. And I would have preferred the falling in love part to be longer because it feels more natural for people to take time with it. They were definitely falling in love when they were trying to figure out how this relationship is going to work, but it wasn't the same way. It was a bit more angsty because of it. So I don't know how I feel about that. And the second thing that I didn't like is that When we were shown the falling in love montage, which is basically them texting and messaging each other, they rarely shown Henry and what he's doing back home. And I think it would have helped to show his point of view more, because it felt like ghost voice. There are certain moments, for example, when Alex went to Texas and when he was campaigning, the background voice was Henry's voice. He was basically writing messages and emails to Alex. And I think it would have helped if we could see what he's doing, because otherwise it felt a bit weird. I also wasn't a fan of icons and effects that they put into the scenes when they were messaging each other. I thought it was a bit cheesy. I liked the idea of having an imaginary Henry in the same room as Alex when they were talking, because it was fun. The turkey scene was a letdown, but otherwise I loved it, and I didn't expect anything from the actors because I have not seen them anywhere else. I didn't know if they were experienced, didn't know anything. This is my second coffee of the day, don't judge. I've slept only for 5 hours today, so I didn't expect anything for them, and I was surprised that they really pulled it off. The chemistry was really good. They made a few really convincing acting choices. For example, I loved when Henry was consistently playing with his ring when he was nervous. I loved, in particular, like the best scene, in my opinion, of the movie, the best played, is at the pier when Alex is trying to tell Henry that he loves him, and then when Henry immediately is pulling into himself, and we get a crop, like a really, really close crop of his face, and Alex behind him in the background telling him nice things, confessing. But all we see is how Henry is reacting to it. It was really, really well played. I really enjoyed the cinematography and the directing choice. It was brilliant. I need to digest more. Uma Thurman's accent wasn't that bad. I was worried about that. I also loved all her acting choices, how she balanced being like a strict mom and a loving mom, you know, like a media person and a caring mom privately. I really like that. Either way, for some dumb reason, I decided to watch it on my laptop instead of using my TV. I don't even know why. It was such an odd choice. And I really want to see it again. Not today, maybe. Maybe next week. I need to digest it a bit more. But I loved it. And now I have to edit my video. Not a reaction video. My book haul video. I'm here with moderately bad news. Tapping into Love wasn't what I expected. It wasn't a 5-star read. Though at the same time, I wouldn't want to finish this vlog with only one book under my belt, so maybe that's fine. It's a Saturday, which is my favorite day of the week. It's cold outside though, and it's feeling very fall, and I'm not happy about it because summer is my favorite season, but it's just the way life is, and we gotta adapt to it. It's not a nice fall like in some places. It's raining constantly, and I think from now on it's gonna get colder and colder. I am trying to be cozy and embrace it though. I went to do some chores today outside, visited my parents, went to the post office. I also went to my pottery studio because they forgot to glaze one of my pot stands. They thought the top is the bottom and the bottom is the top. They thought I'm doing like a candle holder. So I gave it back so they would glaze it. I picked up something that has been in their hold for a long while now. It was supposed to be a salad bowl, like a family-sized salad bowl where you toss the salad and serve it, and now it's just a serving plate. It's huge. It's really, really big. But I love it. I love the glaze. It's a special glaze. I didn't color it. I don't know what I'm going to serve in it though. I don't entertain many guests at my place because I don't have a really big apartment. Not complaining, it's mine, so I love it. But we gotta think of something. I don't even know, tell me if you have any ideas, but I'm really proud of it and I'm holding it in my hands finally, so happy about that. I'm drinking some tea with cinnamon, full vibes. Anyway, since my arrival back home, I've been wedging on my sofa and watching 𝕊𝕊𝕙𝕋, but I really need to read. I'm in the middle of Suddenly You and I love the dynamic. I think that they are going to make a great couple. They're not a couple yet, but we're going there. Hi, I went to sleep with wet hair, so now it's a mess, but I'm making some coffee and I thought I'm going to update you on Suddenly You. Also, I'm thinking between all the syrups that I have now, I have watermelon, I have guava, and I have banana. Banana is a classic choice. I actually love coffee, hot coffee specifically with banana syrup. If you've never tried it, try it. Oh my god, I look so ugly. What's going on? What's going on, guys? Wow. I could have chosen a better time for filming. Anyway, banana is a classic choice. Love it with hot coffee. If you never tried it, try it. I've tried watermelon with matcha recently, with cold matcha, and it was beautiful. I'm really curious about guava because I love it. And I don't know how it's going to be in coffee. I can imagine it being in matcha. We're just going to try it because we only live once. That's what we're going to do. So guava it is. I am reading Suddenly You, and it's an interesting premise. The protagonist hires a sex worker to have sex for the first time because she is a notorious spinster. She's 30. I don't feel like a spinster at 30, but okay, my girl. Anyway, she decides to take charge of the situation because that's who she is as a person, and we respect her for that. She's expecting the sex worker at a specific time and a specific day, and instead of the sex worker, a random dude named Jack or John, something with a J, comes to her house and pretends to be the sex worker, or rather plays along with it. In the end, we realize that it was not the professional that she hired, and it's funny. It's really funny. Basically, the guy turns out to be her future publisher. He bought one of her earlier books, I think her first book. She doesn't want this book to be released to the public, but John or Jack sees this novel as something that is going to bring a lot of money to his company. He does a lot of innovative stuff and offers her to publish this book as a serial, which is not very prestigious, and she's worried about it. But he offers a lot of money, so I think she's going to agree. The first chapter is just a prolonged sex scene. They don't really have sex at the end, but they do fool around. Which is interesting and kind of shady at the same time because he was pretending to be a different person. We'll see how it goes. So far, I feel for the heroine. I really like her point of view. I'm not sure about the hero. I finished reading Suddenly You by Kleypas. And I have to say that I hated it more than I expected. I didn't expect to hate it at all, but I didn't like it, specifically because of the sex scenes. I don't know what was up with that, but the whole time the author was describing the sex scenes, I imagined just very middle-aged people having very unsexy sex with each other, and I felt disgusted. I know that is like a very rude thing to say, but that's how I felt. A little barfy, if we're being honest. So I skimmed a lot of it at the end because I just could not read it. I think it's just the way Lisa Kleypas described it. The heroine feels like she's 50 plus for some reason. She just gives off a vibe of a very weathered old boot. So the struggle was real, and I didn't really like the book, and I'm hovering between 3 and 2 stars for that reason. It wasn't a good time. I also finished reading it while wandering about in the forest near my house, where I got lost in the middle of the night. It's a real oversight on my part. Don't do this, kids.
Much later.
Now, I'm just gonna say this. I was ready to bail on this reading vlog because all the books that I was picking up were 3 stars, and it was just bad luck at that point. It's as if I conditioned myself to not find a 5-star read because I was filming a vlog about finding a 5-star read. The irony of it all is incredible because the moment I dropped that idea and scratched the vlog, I found a 5-star book immediately. Thankfully, because I'm very disorganized, I still have all the footage left from the vlog and it's gonna happen, but the experience overall was very frustrating for me. If you've done this challenge before, tell me about your experience down below. As you see, it's been a long time. A lot of things changed. It's mid-October. I got a haircut. I also colored my hair, but it's toned right now, so it looks dark. I'm also watching Teenage Bounty Hunters, if you were wondering what's there in the background. And this TV show is incredible. It's so funny. And the fact that Netflix canceled it is just another crime in their Rolodex of crimes. So if you have not seen it, the first season is very fun. Either way, I was talking about the bugs and I got distracted once again. If you watch me for a long time, you know that I tend to do that. The books, let's go back to them. In the meantime, while I was away from the vlog, I tried picking up different books. One of them was Blood Thinners, which is a really fun, rompy, supernatural romance / urban fantasy. It's Sapphic too, and I really wanted to read something like that, and it's pretty cute. I really enjoyed it. I think the middle dragged, which is why I struggled with it a little bit and gave it 3 stars at the end, but the start and the end are so solid, and some scenes are incredibly funny. So I actually do recommend it, but with the caveat that you have to have lower expectations and also to be in the mood for exactly that type of book. It's a story about Mina. She works for her father's company that makes sure people are not attacked by supernatural creatures. Supernatural creatures live amongst humans, and some humans know about them, but some don't, so it's not a completely open society. Mina lives in a haunted apartment complex with 2 ghosts and is struggling with both familial drama because her parents are separated, and also with some personal work drama because she wanted to get a raise but got injured and now doesn't know where she stands with her father. At the start of the story, she's attacked by a bunch of young feral vampires that are not documented, and she takes on a case to figure out where they came from. In the frames of that case, she has to go undercover as a personal assistant to the boss of a weight loss company that promises incredible results to their clients if they're only going to live on their shakes. There is a tie between these vampires and the client list of this company. The romance is between Mina and Karma, who is the daughter of the boss of the weight loss company. So in some way they're enemies / rivals, but they do have a really good relationship straight away. I would say it's more of a forbidden romance, but it's very low-key forbidden. I enjoyed the romance between them, and I generally enjoyed the vibe of the story. There are a few sequels that are set in the same world, and I actually think I might continue on when I have the time. Then On a whim, I picked up the new Cat Sebastian book, and we all know how I feel about Cat Sebastian. She is a genius, untouchable in my eyes. She writes a lot of historical romances. Most of her work is in that subgenre. She puts out there, first and foremost, incredible romances, but also they are enriched by social commentary that feels both in line with the times and modern. I'm even more convinced that she's a genius after reading this book, because most of her other books that I read were Regency period romances. But this one is set in the 50s and the vibe is so different. In her Regency romances, she likes to explore the dynamic between someone affluent and someone from regular folks. All her romances that I've read are gay romances. And it's interesting how, despite the laws being stricter at the time, her Regency romances care less about the threat of the other and how the characters can be punished for their relationship in that society. But in her new release, one of the characters named Nick is deeply worried and anxiety-ridden because of a possibility of being arrested by police for being gay. Now, he has a lot of personal reasons to be worried about that all the time, because his brother is a policeman, and as a young man, he was caught cruising and was nearly put in front of the judge for that. But in general, I think the approach is different, because the affluent men in her Regency novels were more worried about being caught than the men that were just regular barkeepers. And in this novel, the person that is more affluent is less worried because he knows that he can bribe. This was such an interesting juxtaposition for me, because it showed how humans and human behavior changed over time, how we started valuing what society thinks more or less depending on our social status. This is one of the reasons why I love Cat Sebastian's stuff, because she thinks about those things. But the book in general is so beautiful. The relationship between the characters is so heartwarming. It's a story about two correspondents, Nick and Andy, and on paper they have to be enemies and hate each other. They work for the same newspaper, but one of them crawled his way up and the other one is the son of the publisher. But they find each other so charming in their differences and become really close friends. This book has so much nuance, and it brought up so many situations that I've never thought about really. For example, I've never seen someone coming out to their kids, or sort of kids, because in this story it's a nephew and he's much younger. We usually see people coming out to their elders, and it was such a complex dynamic, and in many ways it felt harder for the character. There's a very nuanced take on developing a relationship with your family that perhaps is a little bit ignorant. I love this book. It was beautiful and I highly recommend it. Cat Sebastian has done it again. Now, this is the only 5-star book of this vlog. I don't think it could have been different, because the point is to find a 5-star and stop. But I haven't had even a 4-star book in this video, I believe, which is a bummer. In general, I would rate this experience as a 1 out of 10. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed me struggling, and in the comments down below, tell me about the last book you gave 5 stars to. On that note, I will see you soon with another video, but until then, bye.